everyone, and welcome to YarnGasm. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 240. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're a new viewer, thanks so much for checking out the podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, hand-dyeing yarn, sewing, and making all the things in Brooklyn, New York, where I'm from, and I live with my husband Dennis and our adorable cat Bella. And as always, I'm so happy that you're taking some time out of your busy day to chat about all those things with me. So yes, welcome to the podcast. I'm gonna flash on the screen really quickly where you can follow me on social media. As always, I'm most active on Instagram. Email is always the best way to get in touch with me, and Ravelry, you can follow me there on, I'm Voolenvine there as well. And I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, Instagram is where you can follow me. And for show notes can always be found at www.yarngasmpodcast.com. Everything that I chat about in the episode will be linked to there, so be sure to stop by there. And if you have any questions whatsoever, just hop on over to the YarnGasm Ravelry group, where you can ask me questions about the episode here and chat with other viewers and partake in our knit-alongs, and there's just so much to be had there. So hop on over there, and I will be chatting about the knit-alongs throughout the episode that I'm currently partaking in, hosting, and the like. So anyway, enough rambling, enough administrati. I am going to cover some announcements. Nothing major this week, other than it's summer and I have the windows open and there's just a constant flow of noise and traffic outside. So apologies in advance if you hear any crazy sounds. The sounds of Brooklyn. Enjoy. So yeah, okay, first of all, this past weekend was my trunk show at Do You Knit in Westfield, New Jersey. It was my third trunk show there, and it was a freaking blast. Oh my gosh, you guys, I had the best time. I have to say, like, it's always a good time when I have a trunk show at Do You Knit, and the shop itself is just, words cannot describe. Karen is awesome, the owner. If you have the chance to stop in, check it out. She's got the biggest collection of hedgehog fibers you can find, and now she's going totally indie dyer. So yeah, she is the queen of indie dyed yarn, I think. She's the yarn pimp extraordinaire. So hop on over there if you are in the hood or in the area and check it out, and you can just hang out and knit. It's just a really fun LYS to just hang out with friends and knit and the like. So anyway, yeah, I had the trunk show there this past weekend on Saturday. So thank you so much to everybody who stopped by. And even if you couldn't stop by, thank you so much for all the yarn love and support, and wishing me a happy trunk show. And yeah, it was just, you guys, I was, I'm speechless because so many people turned out and said hello, told me that they watched the podcast and bought yarn, and I was just overwhelmed with the warm and fuzzies. I could go on and on about this, but I just want to say thank you so much for everybody who showed up. It always, I don't do many trunk shows a year. I don't have the time, or I mainly want to focus on my online shop, VoolenvineYarns.com, but I do really enjoy when I can doing a trunk show, just to get out there and let people see the yarn in person and meet the podcast viewers and people who are a fan of the yarn and everything. So it was a lot of fun, and I just want to apologize if you did come up to me and I seemed a little dazed and tired. I was probably tired because introvert. It's social. While I do enjoy social situations, it is kind of like an energy zap. So by the end of the day, I don't know, you could probably tell because I did do an interview on the Yarn Pimp podcast. Karen, who owns Do You Knit, and Danielle, who is Gemma Darlings on Instagram. They started a podcast for Do You Knit. It's called the Yarn Pimp Podcast, appropriately, and they interviewed me while I was there. So you can probably tell my energy level was just at I was tired, but at the cost of just having such a great time. So anyway, I apologize if I seemed a little woo. Anyway, it was a great time, and definitely check out the Yarn Pimp podcast if you missed out or were there. And anyway, it was a fun podcast to be a part of. So thank you for having me, guys. And also I do want to mention Knit Style, the Stitch Mistress, who has the Knit Style podcast and Knit Style Yarns. Sharon, she showed up as well. So thank you, Sharon, for coming. And yeah, she, as I mentioned, she has the Knit Style podcast and occasionally vlogs. So she vlogged the whole event. So you can check out her podcast as well. You know, that video as well. It covers the whole kit and caboodle. So I will again link to those in the show notes for your viewing pleasure. And yeah, thank you so much, Sharon, for covering that as well. And anyway, I'm rambling on. I will talk a little bit more about that in Blather if you want to stick around and hear about it. But yeah, it was just, yeah, warm and fuzzies all around. I'm like beyond speechless, and yeah, cannot wait to do another trunk show there. It's again always a really awesome time. So anyway, I think that covers administrati, announcements, and what have you. I will talk a little bit about my shawl design and shop update for those of you who want to know the details and everything. But for now, I have some progress and whips and kind of an FO to share with you. So let's get into what's on and kind of still on / off my needles. Alright guys, so it's not completely off my needles yet, but I am binding off. And you're probably so sick of hearing me talk about it, but my eyeball shawl, it's not, again, I'm in the process of binding off. It's an epic I-cord bind off, which I am becoming quickly a fan of. It's a labor of love. An I-cord bind off, I'm not gonna lie, is a labor of love. Pop on a movie or two and just get cozy, maybe pour a drink, and get I-cord binding off. But it's happening, and you guys, can we just talk about skinny dipping yarns? Because this colorway, Space Pants, I am loving. In combination with La Bien Aimée, just like these two colorways together just make my heart sing so much. And I mean, look at that. How beautiful is that? It just makes me so happy. Like every time like the color, it's just so versatile. Like every stitch has like a different pop of color, and this is gonna be my new favorite shawl, I think, because just the colors together, for probably the last time, well, maybe in the next episode I'll probably just do an overcap of, you know, when I have it blocked and finished, which I will have it blocked and finished for the next episode. But just one more time for old time's sake, for the pupil is Space Pants by Skinny Dipping Yarns. For the iris, again, Skinny Dipping Yarns in her olives colorway, which kind of matches my eyeball. And then for the sclera, the white of the eye, I am using La Bien Aimée in her Gateway Purple colorway. And these colors just go so well together. This pattern was so fun to knit. And so, all right, some little minor notes about the pattern. I was playing a game of Yarn Chicken with the La Bien Aimée, and this, the La Bien Aimée is the Gateway Purple for the white of the eye. And if you recall, I had to order a second skein because I didn't realize that it would require more than one skein for the white of the eye. But turns out it uses up all 2 skeins. Well, I actually hit a snag. I tangled up some of the yarn at some point, and I had to cut out a whole chunk of it, so I'm sure that would have prevented me from playing Yarn Chicken, but anyway, knitter problems. But anyway, thankfully I found a mini skein from a swap I did. I'm totally blanking on who the swap was with, but I have a nice little bin in my closet full to the brim of mini skeins, so I had that at my disposal. I browsed through there and I found a mini skein of Bear. I'm going to guess it had to be Madeline Tosh, Mad Tosh Merino Light in her natural colorway. I'm going to guess, but it was just one more row that I had to go around, and you cannot tell. I'm trying to I don't even know if I can find it here, but yeah, there was barely any difference, and it did the trick. So whoever sent me that skein, thank you so much. You saved the day. I didn't have to open or untangle another skein of Bear yarn from my stash or anything, but anyway, it's the little things that mean so much. But anyway, so that saved the day. I finished knitting the brioche. I was shy 1 brioche round repeat, but honestly, I think this is perfectly fine. So yeah, I'm just binding off, and I should be able to finish that today at some point, and then block it, and then have it done in time for the hashtag Keep Knitting Kit and Cal, hosted by hosted by Hannah of the Crafty Chat podcast and Becky of the Stringing It Together podcast. So thank you so much, guys, for hosting such a fun cal. I'm so glad that that kicked my butt into gear to getting this done. And yeah, I've just been, ever since I finished my snow melt shawl, my shawl design on the back of my chair, I've just been pretty much knitting on this monogamously. I've just been actually snowballing a lot of projects because I realized, you know, just over the course of the past few months, I've just accumulated or cast on a bunch of projects, and I want to get them off the needle so I can focus on a couple of other projects that I want to get on the needle. So yeah, snowballing all my whips is seems to be working. Yeah, it's I kind of liken it to paying off debt, credit debt, if you will. I don't know, that's what goes on through my mind, but yeah, that's why I refer to it as snowballing. You know, just getting it all done, like resisting startitis, resisting any more cast-ons until you get it all done, and then you can just have fun. Anyway, so yeah, that is where I am with this. Eyeball Shawl by Stephen West. Highly recommend it. Such a fun pattern, and I could totally see myself knitting another one. So check it out. Okay, so as I mentioned, I've been pretty much knitting on the Eyeball Shawl monogamously. I finished a couple of other shawls, and I do have a couple of other projects that I have been working on. I have my Brooklyn tweed baby blanket that I'm working on for a friend who is expecting. The baby shower is in July, the end of July, so I still have time for that. I'm going up to Cape Cod this weekend, so I will be bringing that with just to put a big dent in it. So again, I am a self-professed selfish knitter, so yeah, knitting for others is really a chore for me, but I need to finish this baby blanket, so I'm gonna get that done. I will hopefully have something to show for it on the next episode. But yeah, that is work in progress. I'm not even gonna bring it on the podcast because I haven't worked on it at all. But yeah, living in this awesome project bag from, I'm totally blanking, but it was a wonderful gift from Tiny Hand Knits. Tiny Hand Knits made this really awesome unicorn project bag for me with a pretty badass skull progress keeper on it, which I love it. So while I was doing a trunk show at Do You Knit, Karen is co-hosting, or is hosting, a knit along in collaboration with Suzanne Summer, who is, I believe, So Sue Knits. But yeah, she's Suzanne Summer, who is a really awesome and amazing pattern designer. I think she's kind of, I don't know how long she's been around designing patterns, but I believe she's fairly new to the scene, but if you've seen some of her patterns, you know who I'm talking about. Again, I will link to this in the show notes, but she is doing a Love You Baby, that's Love You, E-W-E, you, like the sheep, Love You Baby shawl summer knit along. So Suzanne Summer actually designed this pattern specifically for Do You Knit, and so yeah, Karen is hosting the knit along, and she had a couple, like, they wear these shawls on their podcast all the time, her and Danielle, and I just like fell in love with it. Like they seem so fun, and like the construction seems so unique, and when I was at the shop I saw them all on the mannequins. I was like, I want to knit that. Just like, it seems like such a fun summer shawl pattern to knit, and I could not resist casting them on. And I'll talk more about this in stash acquisitions, but when you go to Do You Knit, because she has so much hedgehog fibers, and hedgehog fibers is one of my favorite hand dyers, one cannot leave the shop without a little hedgehog haul. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know. So I did leave with some hedgehog, a little bit of a haul for myself. And I cast this shawl on immediately the next day, and yeah, here it is, and it matches my bag actually, so yay. Matchy matchy, I love it. So yeah, this is the Love You Baby shawl by Suzanne Summer, as I mentioned, and I'm just getting started with it, and I am starting on a double pointed needle, only because working normally when it gets to a certain length, I'll switch to a circular needle, because while you're knitting brioche, you don't automatically once you knit one row, you don't turn your work immediately. You scooch all your stitches back and then work the row again with the alternate, with the other colorway. So when working with 2-color brioche. So yeah, as opposed to like shifting all my needles back and forth along this long cord, I'm just doing it across this double pointed needle, which clearly very soon I'm gonna have to switch back to a circular. So anyway, here I am, and again, this is Hedgehog Fibers. This is the right side that I'm working on. So in the right side, I'm working with Hedgehog Fibers Skinny Singles in her Juniper colorway, which is a new colorway. And then on the wrong side, for the contrasting color, I'm using Fly, which is kind of like this really awesome bright neon green. Totally out of my comfort zone. Go figure, but I wanted like some bright, fun summer, like seeing their samples, seeing the samples at the shop, they're all done in like these bright, super fun colorways, and I was like, you know what, I just want some color and fun in my life right now. So I went a little crazy. You guys. And it would not be complete without this awesome cupcake stitch marker from Secret Miniatures. I love this cupcake. Anyway, this is like my alter ego project. So if you know me, if you watch the podcast, you know I'm like all about knitting with, you know, like I'm very goth, so to speak. So, you know, I love blacks, grays, mauve is my color. I'm very into the muted shades, but I do occasionally like to dabble in the brights and neons, and especially during summer, I'm just kind of, you know, breaking out of my comfort zone a little bit, just for fun. So those are the two main colorways, and then I am gonna switch off into Hush, which is also Hedgehog Fibers. And I'm gonna admit that this is the second skein of Hush that I purchased from T-Unit when I had my first trunk show there. This was the first skein that I bought, because it's like a fun purple colorway. I don't know, it just makes me happy. So this together with this, I think is gonna be just a really fun combination. So yay, I'm having fun with that. And this is gonna come with me to Cape Cod this weekend because beach knitting happens on the beach. The other thing I want to mention is that just, you know, for sanity's sake, and Karen let me know that somebody who's joining in on the Cal had created a spreadsheet for the pattern. So if you have trouble keeping track of your rows, which apparently I didn't realize, I'm like, I don't need a spreadsheet. I needed the spreadsheet. So it's free. It's in the Do You Knit Ravelry group for you to download, and yeah, basically you go row by row by row, and this is just for the first part, the first wedge of the triangle. So, you know, you mark all the increase and decrease rows, and it's a no-brainer. It seems like you don't need it, but it's definitely very helpful. So I've been using it, and clearly I'm on row 17. So yeah, anyway, super helpful, FYI. But yeah, it's a super fun knit along, so definitely hop on over to the Do You Knit Ravelry group and check it out and join, because it's a lot of fun. So anyway, that's where I am with that, and that is probably, yeah, that is the only whips that I have to share with you this week. I do want to talk about spinning because I do, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so let's move along to, I'm all over the place today, guys. So yeah, I did get a lot of spinning done this week, surprisingly, and I'm even more surprised how quickly this thing is spinning up, mainly because, yeah, it's part of the Mauve Along, which is a knit along, make along that I'm co-hosting with Shauna of Adelaide Cottage. And I decided instead of knitting something, I'm going to spin something because I really wanted to get back in the spinning game. I've neglected my wheel for so long. I'm looking at my wheel right now. That's why I'm like looking off camera in case you're like, what is she looking at? So let me go get Tallulah, my wheel, my beloved Lendrum. So let's try this again. It's always interesting like pulling the wheel up to the camera, but here's where I am. It's a fat bobbin, you guys. It's a fat. It's awesome. But yeah, I'm on this really cool like dusky, kind of dusty purple. I'm gonna call it like lapis almost. It's really beautiful, and yeah, that's all sparkle in there. And I'm so excited about it. I'm getting so much spinning done. And yeah, so this is my loop bump. Here we go. So the colorway is called Isn't It Romantic? It was 5.7 ounces of merino, let me see, yeah, 5.7 ounces of merino, nylon, and Angelina. So, and yeah, this is literally all I have left in the bag. I have probably less than 1 ounce, and then this little batling that I whipped up. So it's moving. So yeah, and I want to say that it's all fingering weight yarn. I'm gonna leave it as a single, and I'm planning, I've decided, or it has decided, that it wants to be a Fairy Hill Shawl by Helen Stewart, or Curious Handmade. And that was my original plan for the Mauve Along. I was going to knit some, I was gonna take some mauve yarn from my stash and knit a Fairy Hill Shawl. But I will admit, at the time, I felt a little inundated or just swamped with other projects that were on the needles, and I felt casting on another project would just put me over the edge. So I decided to, you know, bring Tallulah out and just have some fun spinning on her, because yeah, it has been a while, and you guys, I have missed it. I have missed spinning so much, and so glad that I pulled her out and started working with her again. And yes, I did name my wheel Tallulah. So yeah, anyway, yeah. So I'm excited to cast that on. So once the Eyeball Shawl's done, I'm probably gonna be done spinning this today. So I'm making my deadlines because yeah, the Keep Knittin' Kitten Cal is over July 1st, and so is the Mauve Along. So I will have completed 2 knit-alongs, which is very rare because generally I stink at completing knit-alongs, even my own when I host them. So anyway, very excited about that. So maybe I will finish spinning this today, finish binding off my eyeball shawl, block my eyeball shawl, take photos, so I will have some. Well, yeah, they are, both Hannah and Becky are giving away a prize for the most Stephen West inspired photo for the Keep Knittin' Kitten Cal, so I might have a little fun with that, we'll see. And then yeah, finish spinning this today and get it all skeined up, and then have it ready to cast on when I go to Cape Cod. So I have plans. This is very exciting, you guys. So anyway, yay, very excited about that. So yeah, and by the way, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been participating in the Mauve Along. So as I usually say, while I don't always comment in the Ravelry groups, I do pop into the threads to see how you are all progressing, and you are blowing me away with all your projects, so keep them coming. And yes, if you are participating in the Mauve Along, get your finished objects into the FO thread to qualify to win for some prizes, because we have some fun prizes. So yes, I will lock the thread at the end of the day on July 1st, and then draw for winners for the following podcast episode. And double dipping is totally cool, so hop on over to Shauna's Ravelry group, Adelaide Cottage. It's linked to in the show notes. So yeah, double dip, have fun, and good luck to you. And yeah, so okay, lots of rambling. So I'm gonna see, what else do I want to chat about today? Sewing. Okay, sewing. I'm gonna try and take it down a notch because I feel like I'm very high energy today. So I feel like I'm rambling just a little bit. So let's breathe and let me talk about sewing. So, as I mentioned, I talked about this project a while ago, and it was a total failure. I had wanted to sew myself a hoodie because I am the queen of hoodies when it comes to Cape Cod. As I mentioned, Dennis and I go up to Cape Cod every summer. We have a house out there, or his parents have a house out there, and it gets a little bit chilly. And I thought, you know, I was in the market for a new hoodie. I could not find one that I liked. I had one hoodie that I would wear, I don't know, it had to be about like 6 years old, and it was time. It was time for me to just let go. It was my favorite hoodie. I had to throw it out because it was so full of holes, and it got a lot of love. So, and I haven't been able to find one like it yet. And I will say this one is not like it at all. I mean, maybe a little bit with the patterning, but it's not as thick. So I have a feeling I might have to make another one that's just smidge thicker. But you know, the beauty of sewing is that if you can't find something at a store that suits your style or fit or body or what have you, just make it yourself. Just make it yourself. Which is what I did. I took matters into my own hands and I made myself a hoodie. And here it is. Woo! And you guys, it fits like a glove. I love it. And it's my favorite thing in the whole wide world right now. So if you remember, the first time I attempted this pattern was, let me see. It's a hoodie, you guys. It works, it keeps me warm. So yeah, if you recall, the first time I attempted this pattern, I had a huge snafu. First of all, it was out of like this purplish mauve fabric, which I liked. I really liked it. And anyway, without realizing, I sewed this side of the front to this side of the back, and this side of the front to this side of the back. And while I was inserting the sleeves, I was like, whoa, something's not right here. And I had already serged the seams and everything, so, you know, once you serge something, I'm gonna close the window because there's some serious construction going on outside. 1 minute. I am back. So anyway, but yeah, so I had a huge snafu. There was no saving it because I had already serged all the seams. I wasn't gonna sit there ripping it all out because I had already whipped out the seam ripper one too many times that project. So thank you to everybody for all your tips on how to salvage a project after you serge said seams and everything, but I was just not mentally prepared. I just, in a fit of rage and swearing like a longshoreman, I just threw it out and cut my losses. I'm like, you know what, let's just start over again. So here it is. I love it. It's this very light, it's almost like a lightweight jersey, but it has like a fuzz to it on the top, so it almost looks like, it feels like velvet almost, but it's not, if I can describe it. But it's super toasty, and yeah, it just, I could not be more happy with the way this turned out. So let me stand up and show you. His pockets are always awesome, and there's the hood. Let me do a little. So this is a pattern by Quick Sew. I am blanking on the number, but I will pop it down in the down bar. And there were two views. There's view A and view B, and basically I made a hybrid version of it. So I took the hood from view A, I took the sleeve cuffs, and the waistband from view A. So that was a little tricky. I kind of had to just sit there and figure out how, like switch up the order in which things were sewn together, because I had different directions for each one as far as like applying the zipper. And this zipper, I love the gold zipper. It is so awesome. Cause yeah, like a lot of these hoodies have like silver zippers, or like just, you know, plain black ones or plastic. And yeah, I got this all on fabric.com. And I don't know if you can see, I'm just gonna kind of get in there so you can see like the fuzz. So yeah, it just has like a really nice, it's a lightweight jersey again with like some kind of like fuzzy halo to it. And then the inside has like this textured look to it. So yeah, it's almost like one of those burnout jersey fabrics. Or yeah, anyway, but it's warmer. So what else did I want to say about this? It's just, I could see myself sewing 10 more of these, because yeah, I will say it does have a lot of steps to it. I will show you the inside. I have to tweak the inside a little bit more. Oh yeah. So for view B, for the cuffs and the waistband, they had suggested that you go with like the stretchy rib fabric. It's what is it? I think in German it's called Bunchen. It's just got like that different texture to it. But yeah, I basically just used whatever, like the fabric that I was using, and it works perfectly. It has enough give, enough elasticity. So that worked out well. And then the inside, this is probably my favorite part, kind of like the facing on the inside. So I serged those edges a little bit, I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, I serged those edges a little bit, but it's like genius. So it goes up there, and then you tack it to the shoulder seam, and it just makes for like a really nice, professional, clean finish. I do have to finish, like I will have to hand sew. Seems crazy for a hoodie, but I will have to hand sew or stitch down this part right here. This is the only detail that I have to take care of right now. But it's on the inside, you cannot see it. I'm just gonna fold over that hem and just blind stitch it just to secure it. So, but overall, this is, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. I did not make matching pants. I'm not that girl. But anyway, the hoodie I love, and I will continue making more of these. And I didn't have to do anything to the sizing. I made the extra small size and it fits me perfectly. It has enough ease. I'm a 30, my bust size is a 32, TMI, call it what you will, but I think the finished measurements for the bust on this pattern was, or is a 36. So there's enough, you know, comfort, you know, just to kind of lounge around. And yeah, so I don't know, I might decorate it with like a pin or one of those, yeah, my catacorn pin or something, or I don't know, we'll see, have a little fun with it. But yeah, I love it. Highly recommend this pattern. Definitely see, like I would say like an adventurous beginner sewist, or, you know, seasoned beginner. Just, you know, follow things step by step and you should be gold. So yeah, love it. Love this hoodie. It's coming with me this weekend. And yeah, I definitely want to get a little bit more sewing in. I think I'm going to take tomorrow off, Friday, because I will be totally honest, I'm feeling some burnout, some serious burnout, which anyway, I've been working hard these past 2 weeks. So anyway, yeah, I'll talk more about that in shop update. But anyway, this is my sewing project. I do want to get some more sewing done, as I mentioned, before we head out on Saturday. But yeah, I definitely want to do like a dress or something, just something summery and fun. We shall see. But yes, anyway. All right, so that's it for sewing. I'm gonna move along to shop update. All right, shop update. I'm going to have an international friendly shop update on July 1st, which is a Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because it's the first weekend of the month. And so I thought it was time to do an internationally friendly shop update. So that means that it's just at a different time from the normal 7 p.m. Eastern Time updates that I usually do, and anyone can shop it. It's just, again, at a different time, making it a little more convenient for other people across the globe to catch an update at a decent hour or a different hour. I definitely try to mix things up a little bit, so hopefully you can make it. Although I will say this will be another smallish update. I did have an update at the beginning of the week selling all the leftover yarn from the trunk show, so thank you to everybody who stopped by the shop on Monday and bought that yarn. But yeah, again, this week it will be a slightly smaller update. I was hoping to get more dyed, but again, I need to take a little time off. I just feel a little burnt out this week, and I will be taking the next week off because again, we're going to Cape Cod, coming back around the 4th of July, and then I'm definitely not going to have time to do a full update when we get back. So I want to get all the Yarn Club shipments out, which, by the way, the Yarn Club, the Twin Twin Steaks Yarn Club will be shipping no later than July 10th or 11th, I don't know. But yeah, either the 10th or 11th, they will be going out. They will be in the mail. So stay tuned for that if you signed up for that. So thank you to everybody who signed up or subscribed to the Twin Steaks Yarn Club. Yeah, this whole month has just been a whirlwind. So anyway, so much to delegate, so much to plan out, and yeah, I need an assistant. I really do. Somebody to tell me when I have to do things. But anyway, for now I will have to rely on Google Calendar. So, okay. Now that we have that out of the way, this weekend I will be having a smallish update, but I did not want to disappoint because a lot of you have been requesting kits for my Oracle shawl, which is a shawl pattern that I designed, and here it is. Yay! So this is currently being test knit. I have 4 wonderful, amazing test knitters. So definitely check out their progress. You know, if they do post about it on Instagram, it's hashtag Oracle shawl. So definitely check it out if you're curious to see how it knits up in different colorways. But I did receive a lot of requests for this particular colorway palette, so that's what I dyed this week. I will be selling, I will have some Coven. This is my Nouveau base. So Voolenvine Yarns Nouveau in the Coven colorway, and then we have it here in Grim, and then we have it here in Paranormal, this like light gray, neon green, black, and purple speckled colorway. And yes, the pattern does use up 3 full skeins of at least of single weight, of fingering weight single ply yarn. So that's my Nouveau base, 400 yards per skein, or that's I believe 365 meters per skein, and it takes 3 of those. So 1,200 yards total, and I'm blanking on what that is in yardage or meters, I'm sorry, but I will pop all that in the down bar. So yes, just FYI, if you are planning to knit this, that's how much yarn you will need. And while it does, I did provide directions for using 3 colorways. You can totally use as many colorways or as little colorways as you want. Have fun with it. If you want to use up some leftover yarn from another project and just, you know, mix a whole bunch of different colorways in, go crazy. That's exactly what I had intended for this pattern to be. So yeah, as I mentioned, it's currently being test knit and it will be published on August 1st, or that's what I'm shooting for. If my test knitters in a little bit more time, it is a big shawl. I will see if I can extend the deadline, or I will definitely keep you posted if the deadline has been extended. But anyway, shooting for August 1st, and thank you so much to everybody who respond. You know, many of you are excited about the pattern, and that makes me so happy. Really, it's just, I'm super proud of it and very excited to get it released and cannot wait to see all of your versions. So yeah, and I definitely have the design bug. The design bug is strong with me. I want to get more designs for you in the shop, because right now I remember I only have like two patterns for sale on my online shop, and that's kind of sad. And I really do want to devote more time to designing shawl patterns and other patterns and what have you. So yeah, anyway, yay. So I think that's all I wanted to say about that. But yes, as I mentioned, I have dyed the yarn for the kits, so those will be going in the shop. So just to give you a little preview, here are what the kits look like. So yeah, you will, if you purchase a kit, they will you will get 3 full skeins of, I will have them in Nouveau, and I will also have them in Blitzed, and I will also have them in Volca, which is my merino nylon cashmere base. So you have a MCN, and then there's a gold stellina base, and then the single ply, which is the one that I knit mine out of. So I just give you guys a little option. So I'll have a couple of those, and then I'll be selling those skeins separately. And you know, for those who don't want the kit, or you know, you want to mix and match different colorways. So I'll have I will definitely be having Grimm, Paranormal, and Coven in the shop on Saturday, and I will see if I can get more dyeing done today. And I'm hoping to get some Goth Day cake in the shop and some Last Unicorn, because the Last Unicorn colorway is a colorway that I dyed for Little Skein and the Big Wool when she had a show at Stitches West this year. So that was dyed exclusively for her shop, and now the exclusivity time has ran out, and now I can release it as a regular in the shop. So I think I will be dyeing that today and having that available for you guys. So hope you can make it. And apologies, it's going to be a smallish, well, not I mean, I dyed a lot of yarn, but just limited colorways this week. But definitely, I will definitely be back with a bigger update after the holiday week, after next week. I just need a little bit of a break just to kind of, you know, relax and recharge, and just I need time to be creative, because I have all these ideas in my mind and I just need some time to just execute them. And yeah, who doesn't need to do that? So anyway, yeah, so anyway, shop update Saturday, July 1st at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Hope you can make it. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to chat about. Stash enhancement. I totally forgot about stash enhancement. How crazy is that? How does one forget about stash enhancement? Okay. So I know I'm going in a different order when it comes to segments, but you know, I missed a week. Thank you for coming back and bearing with me, because yeah, I was in deep dye mode the past 2 weeks. So anyway, we'll be on to a regular schedule soon. Anyway, so while I was trunking, is that a word? Trunk showing at Do You Knit, some lovely, wonderful people who came, so you guys are so awesome and generous, totally unexpected. Hub City Fibers, Lillian Purett, I think that's her name, forgive me if I just butchered your last name, but she's the dyer, Lillian is the dyer behind Hub City Fibers. You might have seen her on the Instagram, but she so wonderfully gifted me a skein of her hand-dyed yarn. And here it is, and it came with these 2 lovely sprigs of lavender, which kind of got de-lavenderized in my bag, but I apologize, but it looks so pretty when she presented it to me. But if I can just get that to focus, so yeah. Here's her logo, Hub City Fiber. And she's hubcityfibers.com. And how beautiful. This is called Mademoiselle. And it's just so delicate and so, I love it. So thank you so much, Lillian. This was really wonderful to get. And then she also gifted me some pencils too, which were really cool. They're in my pencil holder over there. So yeah, thank you so much. This is wonderful to receive and totally, again, unexpected. And thank you, thank you. And then Cindy, who stopped by the shop, she is amazing and surprised me with a project bag. And yeah, look at that. It has red lipstick on it. How cool is that? Because if you watch the podcast, I occasionally wear red lipstick. I love red lipstick. It's my favorite lipstick color. Anyway, I'm not wearing any today, just toning things down a little bit. I'm not feeling the red today, but you know, if I'm not feeling the red lipstick in real life, at least I have a project bag. So it's really awesome and roomy. And then she also, I don't know if you can see this, but she gave me this little pin, introvert, because she knows I'm an introvert. And yeah, I love it. So thank you so much, Cindy. This is really, really awesome. So as I mentioned, I did get some hedgehog fibers, but then while I did purchase some more hedgehog fibers. You can't just, you know, I went a little crazy. I treated myself. But while I was, you know, checking people out, ringing people up, I was right next to the hedgehog wall, and I just kept zooming in, like getting distracted. I'm like, ooh, that's a cool colorway, that's a cool colorway. And then I found it, guys. I found the one skein, the one skein left, because my Mauvedar was strong that day. I was talking with Danielle, who's Gemma Darlings on Instagram, and she also co-hosts the Yarn Pin podcast. I'm like, my Mauvedar was strong. It was on, and I zoomed in on it. Oh, you guys. It's hedgehog, yeah, it's kid silk lace, hedgehog fibers. And the one mauve colorway left, it's dusk. You've probably seen this on, you know, around this colorway, but it was the one left. I could not find any other colorway in any other base, but it was there, and it was calling out my name. And I just stopped what I was doing. I ran over to the wall and I grabbed it and I put it behind the desk. I'm like, it's coming home with me. So yeah, Mauvedar. Anyway, it had to come home with me. But wait, that's not all. I found something to go along with it. And again, as I mentioned, the first time I vended at DUKnit, I brought home a skein of Hush and hedgehog fibers and a skein of Urchin. And I came home with another skein of Urchin. This honestly has to be one of my favorite, another favorite hedgehog colorway of mine. It's just so delicate and little pops of purple, pink, and brown in there. They wanted to be together, but then, you know, so did this one. So this is Artifact. Yeah. So we have some options here. We have some options. I have no idea what it wants to be, but I know they want to be together. So gotta listen to the yarn. So very happy about that. So anyway, there was that. And then I also, hang on a second, I was watching the This Old Knit podcast hosted by my awesome friend Nina, who I love. Anyway, I love her podcast, and you know, she's so enabling when it comes to yarn because she's always got some really awesome hauls to show off whenever I watch. And she purchased the Pom Pom Quarterly 5th Anniversary Edition, and I had to get one myself. I just paused her podcast, went over to Fringe Supply, and purchased one. And then, yeah, I got it. So these knits, Joji Locatelli, oh my gosh, she's genius. I love it. The little pom-poms. Oh my god. I'm so tempted to like cast on, yeah, I'm so tempted to cast on a pair of these right now. But anyway, especially since I got my loom, my loom pom-pom and tassel maker, it's just, it has to happen. So I didn't really, I mean, obviously I looked through here, but I didn't mark off anything, and I don't want to like go on and on about it, but there are just so many patterns in here that I want to make. Let me see this, which is, I believe it's the, what pattern is this? The Kaylee pattern. Why? Because not only does it remind me of Scotland, and I went to a ceilidh there, hosted by Grace of Babel Travels podcast, which you should totally check out. So I really want to knit one of these because it totally reminds me of Scotland, and yeah, it has to happen. And pockets. It has pockets. So there's that. Oh yeah, the Bon Bon fingerless mitts, which I just pointed out by Joji Locatelli. Those are gonna happen. It's DK weight. This I really love. The Shindig shawl. Yeah. This is so fun. Seems so like Julie. It's Julie Aislinn DK weight, and then the designer is I'm butchering this. Sakito Bergen, I believe. And it's absolutely beautiful. So anyway, highly recommend you pick up a copy if you can get your mitts on it. But yeah, it's really fun. So yeah, anyway, very excited to dig into this. Again, I purchased it at Fringe Supply, but you can probably find it on, I think they might be sold out, but you can probably find it on other websites or in local yarn shops. Just, you know, you gotta poke around and find it, but I highly recommend that you check that out. I was gonna go to, I'm not gonna lie, I did browse the internet, Expedia and Kayak for plane tickets to London because Palm Fest is happening, and I don't know. I was just entertaining the idea of maybe going, but I just got back from Scotland, and yeah, sadly it's not in the budget. So I will not be going to Palm Fest, sadly, but you know, there's always next year, and I will live vicariously through other people's photographs this year. And anyway, but I do want to go to Edinburgh Yarn Fest again next year. That would be just so much fun because I had a blast this year. Anyway, totally rambling. I'm going to move along to Blather, which is a segment where I chat about what's going on in my life. As for Blather this week, as I mentioned, Dennis and I are going up to Cape Cod. It's birthday weekend, and we usually end up going up to Cape Cod for his birthday. So, but yeah, this will be our first trip up there for the summer, and cannot wait. Lots of car knitting time, and beach knitting time, and house knitting time. There's gonna be a lot of knitting done. But yeah, so looking forward to that. And I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, so hopefully it should be a good weekend, not lots of rain. I do want to try and get to a great yarn. Yeah, I think it's called, not a good yarn, a great yarn in Chatham. So I definitely want to hit that place up. And if we have time, I want to visit Pearl, what is it, P-Town Pearl in Provincetown, which is at the, I always do this like just to describe where it is, but if you look at the map of Cape Cod, it looks like a fist. And right at the tippy tip is Provincetown, and in Provincetown is P-Town Pearl, which the shop owner, Ryan, is it all. I love him. He's awesome. I actually saw him at India Entangled. He was there for Rhinebeck, so I was very excited to see him again. But yeah, if you do happen to stop by or in Cape Cod, definitely check out A Great Yarn. And if you can do the drive, go up to P-Town and stop by P-Town Pearl because Ryan is awesome. So, but yeah, so there will be that, and then I'm trying to think what else is coming down the pike. Yeah, this week has just been crazy again, just, you know, getting all my ducks back in a row, recovering from trunk show prep and whatnot. And then this past weekend, what did we do this past weekend? Oh yeah, okay, so after the trunk show, I was pretty much like, I could have gone home and slept, but our friend was having a going away party. They're actually leaving for California, and you can't skip that type of thing. So dropped off all my stuff at the house, and then we drove back out to Greenpoint from Bushwick to this one, you know, bar that we like to go hang out at. And yeah, so we were hanging out, and you know, it was very loud in the place, and I was just like, I couldn't really hear anybody, but I was trying to look like I was paying attention. And like, this is a first for me because I have no problem knitting in public, but I've never knit around Dennis's friends before. And yeah, this was a going away party for, well, they're my friends too, but originally they were Dennis's friends, and I adopted them. But yeah, I've never really knit in front of his friends before, and I kind of felt a little awkward doing it, but I was like, you know what? I had a couple glasses of wine, I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, you know? So I, you know, I asked them, I said, would you mind if I pull out my knitting? Why I did that, I have no idea. I'm like, but basically, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like freaking out the muggles or anything, but I was like, would you mind if I just pull out my knitting? And they're like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, okay, so I just sat there. I was knitting on my eyeball shawl, and I think one of their friends' parents happened to be there, and I think the mom was like looking, obviously she was like ogling what I was doing and started asking me about it. So I pulled it out, I'm like, it's an eyeball shawl. And she obviously was not a knitter and had no concept of it, you know, like what type of fiber or, you know, anything. She's like, that's very advanced. So like, you know, for me, like, no, it's pretty easy, you know, doing brioche and everything. But anyway, it was fun, like just sitting there and knitting amongst his friends, but they were definitely like watching me like, oh my gosh, that's what she actually does. Anyway, yeah, they just know that I dye yarn, and that's the extent of it. They've never actually like witnessed me knitting in real life, so that was entertaining. But anyway, yeah, then the rest of the weekend we just kind of relaxed and did nothing. So yeah, so anyway, I feel like I'm just rambling on, so let me get into what I've been watching on TV. I've been watching, again, Twin Peaks on Netflix, so I'm still working my way through season 2. You know, I haven't been watching it as often, but, you know, just whenever I have the chance. I have been catching up on podcasts, and I'm trying to think if there are any podcasts I want to mention. There are definitely some. I mentioned them, like the Yarn Pin podcast. I want to check out East London Knit, her podcast, Renee, who... yeah, we've been chatting back and forth, so I think she's working on a shawl, a new pattern with my yarn at the moment. But yeah, we've been going back and forth, and I just found out that she actually has a podcast through listening to the Curious Handmade podcast hosted by Helen Stewart. So anyway, I was like, what? She has a podcast? So anyway, I have to go check that out now. And then Chanel, who is oh gosh, what is that? She gave me her card. Hang on. The Piper Nell podcast. She has stopped by my trunk show, gave me her card and everything, and I was like, I have to check out her podcast. You know, she came to one of my other trunk shows, but anyway, I was like, I checked it out. I love her podcast. It's awesome, so definitely check it out. She's definitely, she's a newbie designer, so she's super talented. She has like a handful of designs out, and she does commissioned work and everything. So I've only watched one episode, but if you are in the market for a new podcast, check out the Piper Nell podcast, and the like. So anyway, oh, there's another podcast I want to mention. I don't know, there's so many. Anyway, I will try and post links to my favorite podcasts, because whenever I'm recording, I usually blank on like listy things, so details. So anyway, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, reading. Okay, so I finished listening to the audiobook for The Witch's Daughter by, who was that by? Paula Braxton. It started out pretty good, but towards the end, it just went way downhill. It was just the storyline. I mean, I will give her kudos for keeping the story going. She didn't dwell on too many details, but then again, she left out a lot of details. Just really significant things that I would have liked to hear more about. Anyway, and it just seemed like it just got really, I will say it, the storyline was pretty stupid towards the end, and I just kept going, really? And I kind of saw what was coming, and they set it up for a sequel or a second book, and I really don't care what happens. So that was unfortunate. I want to leave a review on my Goodreads account, but again, not enough hours in the day, so when I have time for that, I will get into more detail about that. But I have moved on to another book that I'm almost done listening to, and that is My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. I'm not even pronouncing that right, but anyway, I started listening to that book. There is a movie that's out right now with Rachel Weisz, which looks really good. So in the meantime, I don't think I'm going to be able to get Dennis to see that movie with me. Maybe, I don't know. I want to see Wonder Woman first. But anyway, I'm probably gonna have to wait till it comes out on DVD. But yeah, I got excited about that. So I'm listening to the book first, and I really enjoy it. I'm not really so much into thrillers or mysteries or anything, but it's not really, but it's more along the Gothic vein. Like if you think Wuthering Heights or yeah, like it's very Hitchcockian, which I will say, the author did also write a book called Rebecca, which Alfred Hitchcock did direct the movie. It was like a 1940s movie and so good. So check out Rebecca by Alfred Hitchcock. That was a really good movie. And the book, I have to read the book, but this book, My Cousin Rachel, is also very good. Not my favorite, but it is really, I'm curious to find what happens. So find out what happens. So definitely check those out. And looking down at my show notes, I think that's it for this week. So anyway, thank you for bearing with me. I know I've been super chatty and rambly this week. But yeah, I had a podcast, a lot of information to get out, and thank you so much again for watching, taking some time out of your day to hang out with me. And if you liked or enjoyed this episode, like it, thumbs up below, or subscribe and leave me a awesome review on iTunes if you have time. But happy knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye.